The conference room smells like old coffee and carpet cleaner. Caleb Rains sits with his back straight, hands folded on the table, watching the man across from him flip through papers like they're grocery receipts. The fluorescent lights overhead buzz. One flickers. The sound fills the silence where words should be. Brandon Klein doesn't look up. Caleb's dress shoes pinch. He borrowed them from Marcus next door. The soles are worn smooth, slippery on tile. His suit jacket pulls tight across the shoulders, gray, outdated. Sleeves just short enough that his wrists show when he rests his arms on the armrests. He bought it 4 years ago for a funeral. He's worn it 3 times since. Brandon finally looks up. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. So, he taps the resume. Logistics coordinator, distribution oversight, inventory management systems. His tone flattens each word. That was, what, 2020? 2021, sir. Caleb's voice stays even. Before that, I worked at... Right. And then, nothing. Brandon tilts his head. 4 years. That's a long gap. Caleb's throat tightens. He knew this question was coming. Practiced the answer in the bathroom mirror this morning, while Elise brushed her teeth and Noah searched for his backpack. But knowing doesn't make it easier. I was raising my children, Caleb says. Their mother left. I'm a single father. Brandon nods. Once. Slow. Like he's processing something unpleasant. Okay, got it. He leans back in his chair. Expensive leather. The kind that doesn't squeak. And now, you're ready to jump back in. Yes, sir. Full time. Yes. This position requires evening availability. Sometimes weekends. Brandon folds his hands. We're not really flexible with hours. Caleb feels heat crawl up the back of his neck. He keeps his face neutral. I understand. I have childcare arranged. Arranged. Brandon repeats the word like it's foreign. What does that mean? My neighbor watches them after school. And I have backup options. Backup options. Brandon smiles again. This time it's worse. Look, I'm just being honest with you. This isn't a 9-to-5 role. We need people who can stay late when projects go sideways, who can travel if necessary, who can prioritize. The word hangs in the air. Prioritize. Caleb's jaw tightens. He thinks about Noah's science project spread across the kitchen table. Volcanoes, baking soda, construction paper, due Monday. He thinks about Elise asking him this morning if he'd be home for dinner, the way her face fell when he said maybe. I can prioritize, Caleb says quietly. Brandon doesn't respond. He's already looking at the resume again, eyes scanning, judging, calculating risk. Your references are sparse. I can provide more if needed. And your technical skills. SAP, Oracle. Those systems have updated significantly since you last used them. I'm a fast learner. Sure. Brandon sets the paper down. But we're looking for someone who can hit the ground running, not someone we have to retrain. Caleb's hands press flat against his thighs. The fabric is cheap. Polyester blend. It holds sweat. He can feel moisture gathering in his palms. He wants to wipe them but doesn't move. Hey, I'm really glad you're here. Be honest, how's the weather today? Tell me that. Your location. And the time. And if you're new, help me prove something wrong. My mother said drill stories would never reach 10,000 subscribers, but stories like this deserve to be heard. So don't leave without subscribing. It feels empty when you come in and leave without saying a word. Now, let's continue. Brandon shuffles the papers together. The interview has been going for 11 minutes. Caleb knows, because there's a clock on the wall behind Brandon's head. Round, white face, black hands. It ticks. Let me ask you something. Brandon leans forward, elbows on the table. Why do you want this job? Caleb blinks. The question sounds genuine. It isn't. I need stability, Caleb says. I want to provide for my kids. I want them to see that hard work pays off. Right. But why here? Why Haraway Dynamics? Because you're the best. Your logistics network is one of the most efficient in the country. I've studied your distribution model. I know I could contribute. Brandon nods. His expression doesn't change. Okay, here's the thing. He leans back again, fingers steepled. We're a high-performance environment. Fast-paced, demanding. People here don't just work, they commit. And I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm just being realistic about what this role requires. Caleb feels something crack inside his chest. Small, quiet, like ice on a windshield. I understand, he says. Do you? Brandon tilts his head. Because I'm looking at someone who's been out of the game for 4 years. Someone with obligations that might pull them away when things get critical. And I'm wondering if that's fair to the team. Fair to the team? Caleb stares at him. At the perfectly knotted tie, the monogrammed cufflinks, the watch that costs more than 3 months of Caleb's rent. He wants to ask if it's fair that he works 60-hour weeks unloading freight in a freezing warehouse for $13 an hour. If it's fair that his daughter wore the same winter coat 2 years in a row because he couldn't afford a new one. If it's fair that he tells his son they'll go to the aquarium someday when someday never comes. He doesn't ask. I would never let my team down, Caleb says. Brandon looks at him for a long moment. Then he glances at his watch. All right. Well, he stands. The chair rolls back smoothly. I think we've covered everything. We'll be in touch. Caleb stands too. His knees feel weak. He extends his hand. Brandon shakes it. Firm, professional, empty. Thank you for your time, Caleb says. Brandon nods. Already turning toward the door. Already done. Caleb walks out of the room. Down the hallway. Past glass offices where people sit in ergonomic chairs and type on computers with 2 monitors. Past a break room where someone microwaves leftovers. Past the reception desk where the security guard doesn't look up. He presses the elevator button. The light glows orange. He waits. The doors open. He steps inside, presses the button for the lobby. The doors close. He leans back against the metal wall and exhales. Long, shaky. The fluorescent panel above him hums. The elevator descends. He counts floors in his head. 15, 14, 13. When the doors open, he steps into the lobby. Marble floors, high ceilings, a fountain in the center with copper pennies at the bottom. He walks past it, through the revolving door, into the cold. Outside, the city moves. Taxis honk. Suits walk fast with phones pressed to their ears. A woman in heels clicks past him carrying a briefcase. No one looks at him. No one ever does. Caleb walks to the concrete bench near the curb. Sits. His borrowed shoes scrape against the sidewalk. A bus pulls up across the street. People get off. People get on. The bus pulls away. He stares at the ground, at the gum stuck to the pavement, at the cigarette butts in the grate, at his own reflection in a puddle left over from last night's rain. He doesn't know someone is watching. 60 floors above him, behind glass that doesn't open, Eleanor Whitmore stands with her arms crossed. She's 73, sharp-eyed, silver hair pulled into a bun so tight it could snap. She wears no jewelry except a wedding ring from a marriage that ended 30 years ago. She keeps it on out of habit. She's been reviewing security footage, a habit she developed after trusting the wrong executives too many times. She watches people, how they walk, how they wait, how they react when they think no one is looking. She saw the man enter the building 40 minutes ago, saw him check in at the desk, saw him adjust his tie in the reflection of the elevator doors, saw him take a breath before stepping inside. Now she watches him sit, not crying, not yelling, not checking his phone, just sitting. Something about his posture reminds her of someone she used to be. She presses the intercom button on her desk. Bring me the interview schedule for this morning. Her assistant's voice crackles through. Right away, Miss Whitmore. 3 minutes later, a tablet appears on her desk. She scrolls, finds the name. Caleb Rains. Interviewed by Brandon Klein. Logistics analyst position. She taps the name, pulls up the file, resume, references, notes. Brandon's notes are brief. Not a fit. Childcare concerns. Skills. Outdated. Eleanor's jaw tightens. She sets the tablet down, picks up her coat. Her assistant looks up as she walks past. Miss Whitmore? I'll be back, Eleanor says. She takes the elevator down. Alone. The descent is smooth. The doors open. She steps into the lobby. Through the revolving door. Into the cold. Caleb doesn't hear her approach. He's staring at nothing. Thinking about how to explain this to Noah. To Elise. How to tell them that sometimes trying isn't enough. Excuse me. He turns. A woman stands 3 feet away. Older. Composed. Eyes that don't miss anything. Yes? Caleb says. She doesn't smile. I saw you leave. He blinks. Confusion flickers across his face. I'm sorry? The interview? She says. I saw you leave. Why did it end early? Caleb's hands shake as he fumbles with his keys outside apartment 2B. The metal scrapes against the lock. Once. Twice. He can't get the angle right. His fingers feel numb. Cold from sitting outside the building for 20 minutes. Cold from something else he doesn't want to name. The door finally opens. Inside, the apartment is exactly how he left it. Small. Cramped. The radiator clanks in the corner but barely pushes out heat. The walls are thin enough that he can hear Mrs. Chen upstairs shuffling around in slippers. The carpet near the door is worn down to backing. Beige turned gray from years of feet. Noah's backpack sits by the couch. Unzipped, papers spilling out. His science project takes up half the kitchen table. Cardboard volcano, paint supplies, a plastic cup meant to hold vinegar. Elise's art project leans against the wall. Construction paper, glitter glue, a drawing of their family. 3 stick figures. No, 4th. Caleb closes the door, leans back against it. The wood presses into his spine. He's supposed to pick them up in 40 minutes. Marcus next door watches them after school on interview days. Charges $20. Caleb paid him yesterday with the last bill in his wallet. He moves to the kitchen, opens the fridge. Milk, half a loaf of bread, 3 eggs, string cheese, a container of leftover spaghetti from 2 nights ago. He closes it, opens the freezer. 2 bags of mixed vegetables, chicken nuggets, a box of waffles with 3 left inside. He does this sometimes. Counts food, calculates days, does math in his head that never adds up the way he needs it to. The envelope on the counter catches his eye. White, thin, the kind that doesn't carry good news. He already knows what's inside without opening it. Second notice. Electric bill. 63 days overdue. They're patient here. Give warnings. But patience runs out. Caleb picks it up, sets it back down, picks it up again. His phone buzzes in his pocket. He pulls it out. Text from Marcus. Kids asking when you coming. Caleb types back. On my way. 10 minutes. He doesn't move. The kitchen clock ticks. Round. Plastic. Bought at a dollar store 3 years ago. The second hand stutters every 4 beats like it's tired. He watches it circle. Once. Twice. This morning feels like it happened to someone else. He woke up at 5:30. Always does. Moves quiet through the apartment so the kids can sleep another hour. Showers fast. Cold water because the hot runs out after 3 minutes. Shaves with a disposable razor he's used 6 times. Puts on the suit. Ties the tie. Checks himself in the bathroom mirror under the flickering bulb. He looked like someone who belonged in that building. He made breakfast at 6:15. Oatmeal. The cheap kind that comes in a cylinder. Added cinnamon because Elise says it tastes like cookies that way. Set the bowls on the table. Poured orange juice into plastic cups with cartoon characters faded from the dishwasher. Noah came out first. 9 years old, skinny, knees bony under his pajama pants, hair sticking up in the back. He sat down without speaking. Scooped oatmeal into his mouth while reading the back of the cereal box they finished yesterday. Big day, Noah said. Didn't look up. Yeah, Caleb said. You gonna get it? I don't know, buddy. Noah finally looked at him. Brown eyes. Serious. You look fancy. Elise shuffled out next. 6. Small for her age. Wore the nightgown with the pink unicorn on the front. Sleeves too long. It used to be someone else's. Caleb found it at Goodwill for $2. She climbed into her chair, looked at the oatmeal, looked at Caleb. You leaving? Her voice came out small. Just for a little bit, Caleb said. Marcus is going to pick you up from school. When you coming back? Before dinner. She stirred her oatmeal. Didn't eat. You promise? Caleb crouched down next to her chair. Eye level. I promise. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Squeezed. Her hair smelled like the drugstore shampoo he bought in bulk. Her hands were sticky. She'd eaten a granola bar in bed again. He held her, counted to 10 in his head. Let go. Noah watched from across the table. Didn't say anything. Just went back to his cereal box. Caleb finished getting them ready. Brushed Elise's hair. Braided it. His fingers clumsy with the elastic band. She winced when he pulled too tight. He loosened it. Started over. Got it wrong again. She didn't complain. He packed their lunches, peanut butter sandwiches, apple slices, juice boxes, napkins, wrote their names on the bags with a marker that was running dry. At 7:20, they walked to the bus stop. 3 blocks. Elise held his hand. Noah walked ahead, independent. The morning was cold, frost on car windshields. Their breath came out in clouds. Other parents stood at the stop. Caleb recognized some, nodded. They nodded back. No one talked. The bus came at 7:30. Yellow, loud, brakes hissing. Elise hugged him again before getting on. Noah just waved. Caleb watched the bus pull away. Stood there until it turned the corner. Then he walked back, got in his car. A 2006 Toyota Camry with a dent in the passenger door and a check engine light that's been on for 8 months. Started it. Let it warm up. Drove to Haraway Dynamics. The whole drive, he practiced what he'd say. Went over his resume in his head. Thought about how to explain the gap. How to make 4 years sound like strategy instead of survival. He thought he was ready. Caleb sets his phone on the counter. Looks at the kitchen table. At Noah's volcano. At the to-do list he made last week. Half the items crossed off. Half still waiting. He thinks about the way Brandon looked at him. Like he was a problem. A risk. A liability. He thinks about the way the man's voice flattened when he said obligations. He thinks about Elise asking if he'd be home for dinner. The way her face fell. The way she wrapped her arms around him anyway. He picks up his keys. Walks to the door. Stops. His reflection stares back from the dark TV screen mounted on the wall. A man in a suit that doesn't fit. A man who tried. A man who failed. He opens the door. Steps into the hallway. Locks it behind him. Marcus lives in 2C, right next door. Caleb knocks 3 times. Even rhythm. Marcus opens up. Mid-40s. Retired postal worker. Injured his back 5 years ago. Now he does odd jobs. Watches kids. Fixes things. Helps where he can. Hey man. Marcus steps aside. They're good. Doing homework. Caleb walks in. The apartment smells like microwaved popcorn. The TV plays a game show. Volume low. Noah and Elise sit at Marcus's dining table. Textbooks open. Pencils moving. Elise looks up first. Her face lights up. Daddy! She runs to him. Wraps around his leg. He puts his hand on her head. Noah glances over. How'd it go? Caleb's throat tightens. We'll talk about it later, okay? Noah nods. Goes back to his worksheet. Marcus walks Caleb to the door. Lowers his voice. You good? Yeah, Caleb says. Thanks for watching them. Anytime. Marcus pauses. You need anything? I know. Caleb nods. I appreciate it. He gathers the kids. Their backpacks. Their jackets. Elise holds his hand on the walk back. Noah carries his own bag. They step into 2B. The door closes behind them. Homework first, Caleb says. Then we'll figure out dinner. Can we have mac and cheese? Elise asks. Sure, baby. He helps them get settled. Checks Noah's math. Reads Elise's spelling words. Listens to her sound out syllables. His mind drifts. Comes back. Drifts again. At 6, he makes dinner. Boils water. Adds pasta. Stirs. The steam rises. Fogs the window over the sink. He wipes it with his sleeve. Outside, the streetlight flickers on. Orange glow. The sky darkens. They eat at the table. Around the volcano, Elise talks about recess, about a girl named Shanice who shared her cookies. Noah stays quiet, eats slow, watches Caleb. After dinner, Caleb washes dishes. The kids watch TV. A cartoon. Bright colors. Loud voices. He scrubs a plate, sets it in the rack, picks up another. His phone buzzes. He dries his hands, checks it. Email. Haraway Dynamics. HR department. His chest tightens. He opens it. Thank you for your interest in the logistics analyst position. After careful consideration, we have decided to move forward with other candidates whose experience more closely aligns with our current needs. We wish you the best in your job search. Caleb reads it twice, 3 times. The words don't change. He sets the phone down, face down, returns to the dishes. At 8:30, he gets the kids ready for bed, teeth brushed, pajamas on. Elise climbs into the bottom bunk. Noah takes the top. Their room is small, shared. Bunk bed against one wall, dresser against the other, toys in a bin, books on a shelf. Caleb sits on the edge of Elise's bed. She looks up at him, eyes heavy. "You didn't get it," she says. Not a question. Caleb's breath catches. "What makes you say that? You're sad." He smooths her hair back. "I'm okay, baby. You gonna try again?" "Yeah," he says. "I'm gonna try again." She reaches up, touches his cheek. "It's okay, Daddy. You're still the best." Something breaks inside him, small, quiet. He kisses her forehead, tucks the blanket around her. Go to sleep. He climbs the ladder, checks on Noah. The boy's already under the covers, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. "Night, bud," Caleb says. "Night." Caleb turns off the light, closes the door halfway, walks back to the kitchen. He sits at the table, looks at the volcano, at the unpaid bill, at his phone. He doesn't know that 60 floors above the city, a woman named Eleanor Whitmore sits in her office with his resume on her desk. Doesn't know she's been thinking about the way he sat on that bench, the way he didn't beg, didn't complain, just sat. Doesn't know that tomorrow everything will change. But tonight, all he knows is that he tried, and trying wasn't enough. He leans back in the chair, closes his eyes. The radiator clanks. The clock ticks. And somewhere outside, the city keeps moving. If this story hit you, don't just sit there, subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because what happens next will flip everything you thought you knew about second chances. Drop a comment. Tell me if you've ever been counted out before you even got started. Your story might inspire someone who needs it. Now, let's see what tomorrow brings. The bench is cold. Caleb sits outside the glass tower on Boylston Street with his elbows on his knees and his hands clasped together. The concrete seeps through his cheap suit pants. He can feel it in his bones. Sharp, unforgiving. Traffic moves in front of him. Taxis, SUVs, a delivery truck with the hazards blinking. Horns honk. Somewhere a siren wails. The city doesn't stop, doesn't care, doesn't notice the man sitting perfectly still while everything else rushes past. A woman in heels clicks by. Black coat, leather bag, phone pressed to her ear. She's laughing. The sound is bright, easy. She doesn't look at him. 2 men in suits walk past next. One checks his watch. The other talks about a meeting, client dinner, reservations at 7. They step around Caleb like he's furniture. He stares at the sidewalk, at the cracks in the concrete, at the dark stain near the curb that might be oil or coffee or something else. A pigeon lands 3 feet away, pecks at a cigarette butt, gives up, flies off. Caleb replays the interview in his head, frame by frame, word by word. The way Brandon said obligations like, "It was a disease." The way he glanced at his watch. The way the handshake felt firm but already gone. Professional, polite, empty. Caleb thinks about the email sitting in his phone. The one he read while washing dishes. The one that confirmed what he already knew the moment Brandon stood up. We have decided to move forward with other candidates. Other candidates who don't have to leave at 5. Who don't need backup childcare. who don't have gaps in their resumes shaped like sacrifice. His chest feels tight. Not panic, not anger, just weight. Like someone stacked bricks on his ribs while he wasn't looking. He breathes in through his nose, out through his mouth, counts to 4, does it again. A bus pulls up across the street. The doors hiss open. People get off. A woman with grocery bags, a teenager with headphones, an older man using a cane. The bus pulls away. Black smoke coughing from the exhaust. Caleb checks his phone. 11:47 a.m. He has 3 hours before he needs to pick up the kids. 3 hours to figure out what to say. How to explain that sometimes doing everything right still leads nowhere. He thinks about Noah's question this morning. You gonna get it? He thinks about Elisa's sticky hands around his neck. Her voice, small, trusting. You promise? He promised. And he failed. A man walks past carrying coffee. The cup steams in the cold air. The smell hits Caleb. Rich, dark. His stomach twists. He skipped breakfast. Gave his oatmeal to Elise when she said she was still hungry. The man disappears into the building behind him. The revolving door spins, slows, stops. Caleb leans forward, rests his forehead on his clasped hands, just for a second, just to close his eyes and not see the city moving without him. He hears footsteps, dress shoes on concrete, getting closer. He doesn't look up. People walk past him every 30 seconds. This is no different. But the footsteps stop right in front of him. Caleb lifts his head. A woman stands 3 feet away, older, maybe 70, silver hair pulled back tight, no makeup, sharp eyes that don't blink. She wears a long black coat, simple, expensive in a way that doesn't announce itself. Excuse me, she says. Her voice is calm, even not loud but not soft either. Caleb blinks. Yes? I saw you leave. She tilts her head slightly. The building. Just now. He straightens. Confusion crosses his face. I'm sorry? The interview. She doesn't smile. Doesn't look away. It ended early. Why? Caleb's mouth opens. Closes. His brain scrambles for context. He doesn't recognize her. Doesn't know why she's talking to him. Doesn't know if this is some kind of test. I don't. He stops. Tries again. Who are you? She doesn't answer the question. You were in there for 12 minutes. That's not long enough for a proper interview. Caleb stares at her. His pulse picks up. How do you know that? I was watching. The words land flat. Simple. Honest. Caleb feels something shift in his chest. Unease. Curiosity. He doesn't know which. Why? He asks. She studies him for a moment. Her eyes move across his face, his suit, his borrowed shoes. Not judging, just seeing. You sat down, she says, and you didn't move. Most people check their phones, make calls, look upset. You just sat. Caleb glances down at the bench, at the space beside him where he's been sitting for 20 minutes. I was thinking, about what? The question is direct. Too direct. Caleb's instinct is to deflect, to say something polite and vague, to end the conversation and walk away. But something stops him. Maybe it's the way she's looking at him, not with pity, not with judgment, just attention. Real attention, the kind no one's given him in months. About how to tell my kids I didn't get the job, he says. The woman nods once. Slow, like she expected that answer. How old? She asks. 9 and 6. And their mother? Caleb's jaw tightens. Gone. The woman's expression doesn't change. No shock. No sympathy. Just acknowledgement. That's hard, she says. Yeah. Caleb's voice comes out rough. It is. A truck rumbles past. The ground vibrates. The woman doesn't move. Doesn't look away. What happened in there? She asks. Caleb hesitates. He doesn't know this woman. Doesn't know why she cares. Doesn't know what she wants. But the question sits between them, waiting. He exhales. The man interviewing me, he decided I wasn't a good fit. Why? Because I have kids. Because I've been out of work. Because I'm not. He stops. Searches for the word. Convenient. The woman's eyes narrow. Just slightly. He said that? Not exactly. But yeah, that's what he meant. She's quiet for a moment. Then she asks, "What's your name?" "Caleb." "Caleb Rains. And the man who interviewed you, what was his name?" Caleb frowns. "Brandon Klein." "Why?" The woman doesn't answer. She reaches into her coat pocket, pulls out a phone, types something. Her fingers move fast, precise. Caleb watches, unsure. "Ma'am, I don't." "Come with me," she says. She turns, starts walking toward the building. Caleb doesn't move. "Wait. What?" She stops, looks back. "I said come with me. I don't even know who you are." The woman tilts her head, almost smiles. "Almost." "Eleanor Whitmore," she says. The name hits him like cold water. Eleanor Whitmore, founder, CEO. The woman who built Haraway Dynamics from nothing 30 years ago. The woman whose name is on the building. The woman worth more money than Caleb will see in 10 lifetimes. His mouth goes dry. "You're..." "Yes." She turns back toward the door. "Now come with me." Caleb's legs don't move. His brain is screaming questions. Why is she here? Why is she talking to him? Why does she care? Eleanor reaches the door, looks back. "Caleb," she says. Her voice is firm, not unkind. "I don't have all day." He stands. His knees feel weak. His borrowed shoes scrape against the concrete. He follows her. She pushes through the revolving door. He steps in behind her. The door spins, deposits them into the lobby. The security guard at the desk looks up. His eyes widen when he sees Eleanor. He straightens. "Miss Whitmore." She nods, keeps walking. Caleb trails behind her. His heart pounds. People in the lobby stop, stare, whisper. Eleanor doesn't acknowledge them. She moves toward the elevators, presses the button. The doors open immediately. She steps inside. Caleb hesitates. "Get in," she says. He does. The doors close. Eleanor presses a button. The number glows. 15. The elevator rises. Smooth. Silent. Caleb watches the numbers climb. His reflection stares back from the polished metal doors. He looks terrified. "Why are you doing this?" he asks. Eleanor doesn't look at him. "Because Brandon Klein is about to learn something." "Learn what?" The elevator slows. Stops. The number 15 glows bright. The doors open. Eleanor steps out. Caleb follows. The hallway is wide, clean. Carpet so thick it muffles sound. Glass offices line both sides. Inside, people work, type, talk on phones. One woman glances up, sees Eleanor. Her face goes pale. Eleanor walks to the end of the hall, to a corner office. The door is closed. A nameplate reads, "Brandon Klein, Senior Hiring Manager." She doesn't knock. She opens the door. Inside, Brandon sits at his desk, eating lunch, salad, fancy, the kind that comes in a plastic container from the place downstairs that charges $14. He looks up, fork halfway to his mouth. His face drains of color. "Miss Whitmore," he stammers, sets the fork down, stands. "I wasn't expecting." "Sit down," Eleanor says. Brandon sits. Eleanor steps inside. Caleb stays in the doorway, frozen. "This is Caleb Rains," Eleanor says. Her voice is calm, controlled. "You interviewed him this morning." Brandon's eyes flick to Caleb, then back to Eleanor. "Yes, I did." "And you rejected him." Brandon clears his throat. "Yes, he wasn't the right fit for the position." "Why not?" Brandon hesitates. His hands fidget with a pen on his desk. His experience was outdated. He's been out of the field for several years, and he has personal obligations that might interfere with the demands of the role. Eleanor's expression doesn't change. "Personal obligations." "Yes." "You mean his children?" Brandon's jaw tightens. "I mean his availability. This position requires flexibility. Long hours, sometimes weekends. He admitted he has childcare concerns. He has childcare arranged, Eleanor says. Arranged isn't guaranteed. Eleanor takes one step closer to the desk. Tell me something, Brandon. When you hired Michael Chen last month, did you ask about his availability? Brandon blinks. Michael doesn't have. Michael has 3 children, Eleanor says, and a wife who travels for work. I've seen his file. You didn't ask him a single question about childcare. The room goes silent. Caleb's heart hammers in his chest. Brandon opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. That's different. How? Michael had continuous employment. He wasn't stepping back into the workforce after a bet. After what? Eleanor's voice sharpens. Just slightly. After doing something incredibly difficult? After raising 2 children alone? After surviving? Brandon's face flushes. Miss Whitmore, I was simply evaluating based on bias, Eleanor says, and laziness. The word hangs in the air. Brandon's mouth snaps shut. Eleanor turns, looks at Caleb. Wait outside. Caleb doesn't move. Now, she says. He steps back. Into the hallway. The door closes behind him. Through the glass wall, he can see Eleanor standing in front of Brandon's desk. He can't hear the words, but he can see Brandon's face. And for the first time in 4 years, Caleb wonders if maybe, just maybe, someone finally sees him the way he's been trying to be seen all along. Caleb stands in the hallway with his back against the wall. His pulse hammers in his ears. Through the glass, he watches Eleanor speak. Her mouth moves, calm, measured, precise. Brandon sits behind his desk, spine straight, hands flat on the surface. His face cycles through expressions: confusion, defense, fear. Caleb can't hear the words. The glass is too thick. But he sees Brandon's shoulders drop, sees him nod, sees Eleanor turn and walk toward the door. She opens it, steps out, closes it behind her, without looking back. Follow me, she says. Caleb pushes off the wall. His legs feel shaky. What just happened? Eleanor doesn't answer. She walks down the hallway, past the glass offices, past the people who pretend not to stare, past the woman who went pale earlier. She's standing now, watching, her hand frozen on her phone. They reach the elevator. Eleanor presses the button. The doors open immediately, like they've been waiting. She steps inside. Caleb follows. The doors close. Eleanor presses a button. Not 15. Not the lobby. 60. The elevator climbs. Fast. Caleb's stomach dips. He watches the numbers rise. 20. 30. 40. His reflection stares back from the polished doors. He looks lost. Where are we going? He asks. My office. Caleb's breath catches. Why? Eleanor glances at him. Just a flicker. Because I want to talk, and I don't do that in hallways. The elevator slows, stops. 60 glows bright. The doors open. The space beyond is different. No cubicles, no glass offices, just open floor. Windows everywhere, floor to ceiling. The city spreads out below them. Buildings, streets, the harbor in the distance. Gray water under gray sky. Eleanor walks forward. Her shoes barely make sound on the dark hardwood. Caleb follows. His borrowed shoes squeak. They pass a desk. A woman sits there, mid-30s, glasses, sharp suit. She looks up. Her eyes widen. Miss Whitmore, she says, your 2 o'clock is in 15. Cancel it, Eleanor says without stopping. But, cancel it, Rebecca. Rebecca nods, picks up her phone, starts typing. Eleanor reaches a door at the far end. Wood, dark, simple, no nameplate. She opens it, steps inside. Caleb hesitates at the threshold. The office is massive, but not showy. One desk, one chair, shelves along the walls, books, files. A small table near the window with 2 chairs. No photos, no awards, no ego. Eleanor walks to the table, sits, gestures to the other chair. Sit. Caleb sits. The chair is leather, soft, expensive. He sinks into it slightly. His hands rest on his thighs. He doesn't know what to do with them. Eleanor leans back, studies him. Not unkind, just thorough. "You're wondering why you're here," she says. "Yes," Caleb admits. "So am I." The answer throws him. He blinks. "What?" Eleanor's mouth twitches, almost a smile. "I don't usually do this. Leave my office, chase people on the street, interrupt my own hiring managers." She pauses. "But I saw you sitting out there, and something told me to pay attention." Caleb swallows. His throat is dry. "I don't understand." "Neither do I." "Yet," Eleanor crosses her arms. "Tell me about yourself. You already saw my resume." "I don't care about your resume. I care about you." The words hit strange. Caleb's used to people caring about credentials, experience, skills. Not him. He shifts in the chair. "What do you want to know?" "Everything." Caleb's hands tighten on his thighs. He doesn't know where to start. Doesn't know what this woman wants to hear. Doesn't know if honesty will help or hurt. But she's waiting. So he starts talking. He tells her about the apartment, the radiator that clanks, the walls so thin he hears the neighbors argue. He tells her about Noah, 9, serious, too smart for his own good. He tells her about Elise, 6, sticky hands, big heart. He tells her about their mother, how she left, how she didn't call, how he told the kids she went away for work because the truth would hurt worse. He tells her about the warehouse, night shifts, unloading freight, 60 hours a week for $13 an hour, how his back aches, how his hands crack in winter, how he comes home smelling like diesel and cardboard. He tells her about the mornings, making breakfast, packing lunches, braiding Elise's hair even though he's terrible at it, walking them to the bus stop, watching it drive away. He tells her about the bills, the ones that stack up, the ones he pays late, the ones he ignores because there's no money left. He tells her about tonight, how he has to go home, how he has to look his kids in the eye, how he has to explain that trying wasn't enough. He tells her everything. And when he's done, the room is quiet. Eleanor doesn't speak, doesn't move, just watches him. Caleb's chest feels tight. He said too much, showed too much. He dropped his guard, and now she's going to stand up and thank him for his time and send him back to the street. But she doesn't. Instead, she leans forward, elbows on the table, hands folded. "What would this job mean to you?" she asks. Caleb's breath catches. The question is simple. The answer isn't. He thinks about Noah's science project, about Elise's winter coat, about the electric bill on the counter, about the way his daughter asked if he'd be home for dinner, about the way his son looked at him this morning and asked, "You gonna get it?" "It would mean my kids don't grow up thinking their dad quit," Caleb says. His voice cracks, just slightly, just enough. Eleanor's eyes don't leave his face. She nods, once, slow. Then she stands. Caleb's heart sinks. This is it. The moment she says thank you but no. The moment she tells him she admires his story but he's not what they're looking for. The moment everything ends, but Eleanor doesn't walk to the door. She walks to her desk, picks up her phone, dials, puts it on speaker. It rings twice. "Ms. Whitmore?" A man's voice, older, careful. "James, I need you to draft an offer letter." Silence. Then, "For which position?" "Logistics analyst, Department 12. "We already filled that." "No," Eleanor says. "We didn't." Another pause. Longer. "I'm sorry, I don't." "The candidate Brandon interviewed this morning. Caleb Rains. Draft the offer. Standard package. Start date Monday." Caleb's entire body goes rigid. His brain stalls. He heard the words, but they don't make sense. "Miss Whitmore," James says slowly. "Brandon already sent the rejection email. Then unsend it." I can't unsend." "Then send a new email. Offer letter. Today. I want it in his inbox by 3. "But Brandon's notes say." "I don't care what Brandon's notes say." Eleanor's voice doesn't rise. "Doesn't need to. Draft the letter. Send it. Confirm with me when it's done." "Yes, ma'am." She hangs up. turns to Caleb. He's staring at her, mouth open, eyes wide. He looks like someone hit him with a brick. I don't. He stops. Tries again. I don't understand. Eleanor sits back down. You're hired. Why? Because you deserve it. Caleb shakes his head. You don't even know me. I know enough. Eleanor's gaze is steady, unwavering. I know you showed up to an interview in borrowed shoes. I know you've been carrying weight most people would have dropped years ago. I know you sat on that bench and didn't cry, or yell, or give up. You just sat and thought about your kids. Her voice softens, just barely. That tells me more than any resume ever could. Caleb's throat closes. He can't speak, can't breathe. His eyes burn. He blinks hard. Once, twice. I can't. His voice breaks. I can't afford to hope and be wrong. Eleanor nods. Check your email in 2 hours. You'll see I'm not wrong. Caleb stares at her. At this woman who doesn't know him, who has no reason to care, who just upended his entire world in the span of 20 minutes. Why are you doing this? He whispers. Eleanor is quiet for a moment. Her eyes drift to the window, to the city below, to something far away. Because someone did it for me once, she says, and I never forgot. She stands, walks to the door, opens it. Go home, Caleb, she says. Be with your kids. Tell them their dad didn't quit. Caleb stands. His legs shake. He walks to the door, stops in front of her. Thank you, he says. Eleanor looks at him, really looks at him. Don't thank me yet, she says. Prove me right. Caleb nods, steps into the hallway. Rebecca is at her desk. She looks up. Her expression is carefully neutral. Rebecca will show you out, Eleanor says. Caleb follows the woman to the elevator. The doors open. He steps inside, turns. Eleanor is still standing in her doorway, watching. The doors close. The elevator descends. Caleb leans against the wall. His hands are shaking. His chest is tight. He's not sure if he's breathing. The doors open. Lobby. Marble floors. Fountain. People moving. He walks out. Through the revolving door. Into the cold. The bench is still there. Empty. He doesn't sit. He pulls out his phone. Opens his email. The rejection letter is still there. Still unread, even though he knows what it says. He deletes it, puts the phone in his pocket, and walks toward the bus stop with his head up for the first time in 4 years. The elevator doors close before Caleb can refuse. He presses himself against the back wall. His reflection stares at him from the polished metal wrinkled suit, wild eyes, confusion written across every line of his face. The numbers above the door climb. 15, 16, 17. His phone buzzes in his pocket. He pulls it out. Text from Marcus. Kids good. Noah finished homework. Elise made you a drawing. Caleb types back with shaking fingers. Be there soon. Thanks. The elevator doesn't stop. 23, 28, 35. His stomach drops with each floor. He doesn't understand what's happening. Doesn't understand why Eleanor Whitmore, a woman whose net worth he can't even imagine, pulled him off a bench and dragged him back inside. 41, 47, 53. The elevator slows. His heart doesn't. 60. The doors open. Eleanor steps out without looking back. Caleb follows because he doesn't know what else to do. The air up here feels different, cleaner, quieter, like money has a smell, and this is it. Rebecca sits at her desk typing. Her fingers freeze when she sees them. Her eyes go wide. Not surprise. Fear. Miss Whitmore, she says carefully. Your 2 o'clock. Reschedule it, Eleanor says. It's the board. The quarterly review. Then they'll wait. Rebecca's mouth opens, closes. She picks up her phone without another word. Eleanor walks past her desk. Down the hall, Caleb trails behind. His borrowed shoes squeak on the hardwood. The sound echoes. He wants to disappear into the floor. They pass offices, empty ones, glass walls, expensive furniture no one's using. At the end of the hall, a door stands open. Dark wood. No name. Eleanor walks through. Her office is huge. Windows everywhere. The city spreads out like a map. Caleb can see the harbor. Boats, tiny cars on tiny streets. He's never been this high. Eleanor doesn't sit at her desk. She walks to a small table near the window. 2 chairs. Simple. She sits in one, points at the other. Sit. Caleb sits. The leather is soft. Too soft. He feels like he's sinking. Eleanor folds her hands on the table, looks at him. Not friendly, not unfriendly, just direct. "You're confused," she says. "Yes." "Good. That means you're paying attention." Caleb's hands grip his knees. "Why am I here?" "Because I want to understand something." Eleanor tilts her head. "You sat outside my building for 20 minutes, didn't check your phone, didn't make a call, just sat. Why?" Caleb blinks. "I was thinking." "About what?" The question lands hard. Personal. Caleb's instinct is to deflect, to give a safe answer, but something about the way Eleanor's watching him like she'll know if he lies makes him tell the truth. "About how to tell my kids I failed." Eleanor nods. Slow, like she expected that. "What would you have told them?" Caleb's throat tightens. "That I tried. That sometimes trying isn't enough. That we'll figure it out." "Would they have believed you?" "I don't know." Eleanor leans back. Her eyes don't leave his face. "Tell me about them." Caleb hesitates. "My kids?" "Yes." He doesn't understand why she cares. But she's waiting, so he talks. He tells her about Noah, how he's 9 but acts 40, how he reads books about space and asks questions Caleb can't answer, how he's been quieter since his mother left, how he watches Caleb sometimes like he's waiting for him to break. He tells her about Elise, how she's 6 and still believes the world is good, how she draws pictures of their family with 4 stick figures even though there's only 3, how she asks when mommy's coming home and Caleb has to lie every time. He tells her about mornings, oatmeal, braids, the bus stop, how he stands there until the bus is gone because Elise waves through the back window and he doesn't want her to turn around and see he left. He tells her about nights, homework, dinner, bunk beds, how Elise makes him check under the bed for monsters and Noah pretends he's too old for that, but watches anyway. He tells her about the promises he makes, the ones he keeps, the ones he can't. When he stops talking, the room is quiet. Eleanor doesn't speak, just watches him. Her expression hasn't changed, but something in her eyes has. "What would this job mean to you?" she asks. Caleb's chest tightens. The question is simple. The answer is everything. "It would mean I can stop lying to them," he says, "about why we can't afford things, about why I work nights, about why I'm always tired." His voice drops. "It would mean they don't grow up thinking their dad gave up." Eleanor's jaw tightens, just slightly. She stands, walks to her desk, picks up her phone. Caleb's heart stops. This is it. The moment she says she's sorry but she can't help. The moment she calls security. The moment this ends. She dials, puts it on speaker. It rings. Miss Whitmore. A man's voice. Deep. Professional. "James, I need you to pull the file on the logistics analyst position. Department 12. A pause. "That position was filled this morning." "No," Eleanor says. "It wasn't." Silence. Longer this time. "I'm sorry. I'm looking at Brandon's notes. He sent a rejection email at..." "I don't care what Brandon sent. I'm unfilling it." I don't understand." Caleb Rains. "The candidate Brandon rejected. I want an offer letter drafted. Full benefits. Standard salary band for the position. Start date Monday." Caleb's brain stops processing. The words don't connect, don't make sense. He's still sitting, but feels like he's falling. "Miss Whitmore," James says carefully. "Brandon already made his decision. And I'm making mine." Eleanor's voice is steel, calm, unbreakable. "Draft the letter. Have it in his inbox by 3 o'clock today." "But, are you questioning me, James?" The line goes silent. Then, quietly. No, ma'am. Good. Confirm when it's sent. She hangs up, turns to Caleb. He's staring at her. Mouth open, eyes wide. He looks like someone who just watched the laws of physics break. I don't, his voice cracks. I don't understand. You're hired. Why? Eleanor sits back down. Because Brandon Klein made a decision based on convenience, not competence, and I won't let that stand. Caleb shakes his head. You don't even know if I'm good at this. You're right. I don't. Eleanor's eyes lock on his. But I know you'll work harder than anyone else in that department. I know you'll show up. I know you won't take it for granted. She pauses. And I know what it's like to be counted out before you even start. Something in her voice shifts, just for a second. Then it's gone. Caleb's hands shake. He presses them flat on his thighs. What if I fail? Then you fail. But at least you'll fail trying, not sitting on a bench wondering what if. Caleb's throat closes. His eyes burn. He blinks hard. I can't afford to hope and be wrong, he whispers. Eleanor nods. Check your email at 3. You'll see I'm not wrong. She stands, walks to the door, opens it. Go home, Caleb. Be with your kids. Caleb stands. His legs feel like water. He walks to the door, stops in front of her. Why are you doing this? He asks. Eleanor looks at him. Really looks. Because someone gave me a chance once, she says. When I had nothing. When I was invisible. When everyone else walked past me like I didn't exist. Her voice drops. I never forgot. And I never will. She steps aside. Caleb walks into the hallway. Rebecca looks up. Her face is pale. She doesn't speak. Eleanor's voice follows him. Rebecca, show Mr. Raines to the elevator. Rebecca stands, nods, walks with him down the hall. The silence is heavy, uncomfortable. She presses the button. The doors open immediately. Caleb steps inside, turns. Eleanor is still standing in her doorway, watching. Monday, she says. 8 a.m. Don't be late. The doors close. Caleb leans against the wall. His hands won't stop shaking. The elevator descends. Smooth. Silent. He watches the numbers fall. 50. 40. 30. His phone buzzes. Email notification. He pulls it out. Stares at the screen. Haraway Dynamics. Offer letter. Logistics analyst position. His vision blurs. He opens it. Scans the words. Salary. Benefits. Health insurance. Dental. Vision. Paid time off. Start date. Monday, 8 a.m. At the bottom, a single line. Welcome to the team. Eleanor Whitmore. The elevator reaches the lobby. The doors open. Caleb steps out, through the revolving door, into the cold. The bench is still there. He doesn't sit. He walks, fast, toward the bus stop, pulls out his phone, calls Marcus. Hey man, Marcus answers. You good? Yeah, Caleb says. His voice shakes. I'm on my way. Tell the kids. Tell them I got it. Marcus is quiet. Then, for real? For real. Man. Marcus laughs. Quiet, relieved. That's good. That's real good. Caleb hangs up. Keeps walking. The city moves around him. Same as before, but different. Everything's different. He gets on the bus. Sits in the back. Watches the streets pass. His phone buzzes again. Text from an unknown number. This is Rebecca from Miss Whitmore's office. Your employee ID and building access will be ready Monday morning. Report to HR at 7:45 for orientation. Congratulations. Caleb reads it 3 times. The bus stops. He gets off. Walks the 3 blocks to his building. Climbs the stairs. Stands outside 2C. Knocks. Marcus opens the door. Grins. They're waiting for you. Caleb steps inside. Noah and Elise are on the couch. They look up. Elise jumps off. Runs to him. Wraps around his leg. Did you get it? She asks. Eyes wide. Hopeful. Caleb crushed down. Eye level. Yeah, baby, I got it. She screams. Throws her arms around his neck. Squeezes so tight he can't breathe. Noah walks over. Slower. Careful. For real? Caleb looks at him. At his serious face. At the hope he's trying to hide. For real, Caleb says. Noah's mouth twitches. Almost a smile. Then he hugs Caleb too. Tight. Quick. Like he's embarrassed. Caleb holds them both. Feels their weight. Their warmth. Their belief. And for the first time in 4 years, he believes too. But what Caleb doesn't know, what he can't know, is that 60 floors above the city, Eleanor Whitmore is standing in Brandon Klein's office. And Brandon's world is about to collapse. Don't go anywhere. What happens in that office will change everything. Subscribe, turn on notifications, because what happened next will show you exactly what happens when power meets accountability. Comment below, have you ever watched karma catch up to someone who deserved it? Tell me. Brandon Klein's office smells like expensive salad and fear. He sits behind his desk with a plastic fork frozen halfway to his mouth. Arugula, grilled chicken, balsamic drizzle, $14 from the place downstairs that prints the calorie count on the lid. Eleanor Whitmore stands in his doorway. Brandon drops the fork. It clatters against the container. He stands so fast his chair rolls backward and hits the credenza. Miss Whitmore. His voice comes out high, strained. I wasn't expecting. Sit down. Brandon zits. Eleanor steps inside, closes the door behind her. The click echoes. She doesn't move toward his desk, just stands there, 3 feet from the door, hands at her sides, eyes locked on him. The silence stretches. 5 seconds. 10. Brandon's throat bobs. He opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. Is there something I can? Caleb reigns. Brandon blinks. His brain scrambles. I'm sorry? The candidate you interviewed this morning. Caleb reigns. Eleanor's voice is level, calm, the kind of calm that precedes disaster. Tell me why you rejected him. Brandon's hands move to the edge of his desk. Grip it. His knuckles go white. His qualifications weren't. Don't lie to me. The words land like a slap. Brandon's face flushes. Red creeps up his neck. He swallows. I evaluated him based on the requirements of the position. His experience was outdated. He's been out of the workforce for 4 years, and he has personal circumstances that would interfere with the demands of the role. Eleanor takes 1 step forward. Personal circumstances. Yes. Be specific. Brandon's jaw tightens. He's a single parent, 2 children. He admitted he has childcare limitations. This position requires flexibility, evening hours, occasional weekends. I didn't feel he could meet those expectations. Did you ask him if he could meet them? I asked about his availability. That's not what I asked. Eleanor's eyes narrow. Did you ask him directly if he could fulfill the job requirements? Brandon hesitates. He mentioned needing backup childcare. That suggests, answer the question. Silence. Brandon looks down at his desk, at the salad, at his hands, anywhere but her eyes. No, he says quietly. I didn't ask directly. Eleanor nods. Once. Slow. When you hired Michael Chen last month, did you ask about his availability? Brandon's head snaps up. That's different. How? Michael has continuous employment history. He wasn't stepping back into the field after. Michael has 3 children, Eleanor says. Her voice doesn't rise. Doesn't need to. And a wife who travels 2 weeks out of every month for work? I've reviewed his file. You didn't ask him a single question about childcare. Brandon's mouth opens. Nothing comes out. You didn't ask David Park about his elderly mother who lives with him and requires daily care. You didn't ask Jennifer Wu about her night classes. You didn't ask Thomas Bradley about his second job driving for a rideshare service on weekends. Eleanor takes another step forward. But you asked Caleb Rains. Why? I was assessing risk. You were making assumptions. Brandon's face goes red. I was doing my job. Your job is to hire qualified candidates, not to filter out people whose lives look inconvenient to you. That's not what I... Then explain it to me. Eleanor's voice sharpens. Just slightly. Explain why a man with logistics experience, system knowledge, and a resume that shows 5 years of exemplary performance isn't qualified. Explain why needing childcare disqualifies him when it doesn't disqualify anyone else. Explain why you decided in 12 minutes that he wasn't worth your time. Brandon's hands gripped the desk harder. I made a judgment call based on what I observed. What did you observe? He seemed uncertain, hesitant, like he wasn't fully committed. He seemed uncertain, Eleanor repeats. Or he seemed poor. The room goes silent. Brandon's face drains of color. I never said. You didn't have to. Eleanor's eyes don't blink. I saw his suit. I saw his shoes. I saw the way he sat in that lobby, like he was afraid to take up space. And I know exactly what you saw. Someone who doesn't belong here. That's not fair. Isn't it? Eleanor tilts her head. You rejected him in 12 minutes. 12. That's not enough time to assess competence. That's barely enough time to skim a resume. So what were you really assessing, Brandon? Brandon's jaw works. His hands shake. He pulls them off the desk, folds them in his lap. I was protecting the team. From what? From someone who might not be able to keep up, who might need accommodations, who might need flexibility. Eleanor finishes. Like every other human being who works here. Brandon's face hardens. I've been doing this job for 6 years. I know how to evaluate talent. Do you? Eleanor steps closer. Close enough that Brandon leans back in his chair. Because from where I'm standing, you're very good at evaluating privilege. You hire people who look like you, talk like you, live like you. People who don't complicate your metrics. That's not true. Then prove it. Eleanor's voice drops. Quiet. Deadly. Tell me the last time you hired someone who had a gap in their resume. Someone who came from a background that didn't include private schools and unpaid internships. Someone who worked 2 jobs to pay rent. Someone who didn't have a safety net. Brandon opens his mouth, closes it. Eleanor waits. Brandon's voice falters. I hire based on qualifications. You hire based on comfort. Eleanor straightens. And comfort is not the same as competence. She turns, walks to the door. Brandon exhales, thinks it's over. It's not. Eleanor stops, hand on the doorknob, looks back. Caleb Rains starts Monday, she says. 8 a.m. He'll report to Department 12. You'll assign him a mentor. You'll ensure he has everything he needs to succeed. And you'll treat him with the same respect you show every other employee in this building. Brandon's face goes white. You hired him. I did. But I already sent the rejection. I know. I had it reversed. Brandon stands. Miss Whitmore, with all due respect, this undermines my authority as... Your authority? Eleanor's voice cuts like glass. You think you have authority here? Brandon's mouth snaps shut. Let me be very clear, Eleanor says. You work for me. This company exists because I built it. Every salary, every benefit, every opportunity. It all flows from decisions I made 30 years ago when people like you told me I couldn't. She takes one step back into the room. So when you sit in this office and decide that a single father isn't worth your time, you're not exercising authority. You're exercising bias. And I won't tolerate it. Brandon's hands grip the armrests of his chair. You were just doing what's easy, Eleanor says. And easy is not good enough. She opens the door, pauses. One more thing, she says without looking back. I've been reviewing your hiring records. Every candidate you've rejected in the last 18 months. Every reason you documented. Every pattern you thought no one was watching. Brandon's face goes ashen. I'm watching now, Eleanor says. She walks out, closes the door behind her. Brandon sits frozen, his salad forgotten, his hands trembling. The walls of his expensive office suddenly feel very small. Down the hall, Eleanor walks past cubicles and glass offices. People look up, whisper. She doesn't acknowledge them, doesn't slow down. Rebecca stands when Eleanor approaches. Miss Whitmore, the board is. Tell them I'll be there in 5 minutes. They've been waiting 20. Then 5 more won't kill them. Eleanor walks into her office, closes the door, stands at the window. The city spreads out below. Tiny cars, tiny people, all of them moving, all of them fighting. She thinks about Caleb Rains sitting on that bench, the way his shoulders curved, the way he stared at nothing, the way he didn't check his phone or make excuses or demand answers. He just sat, like someone who'd learned that hoping hurts worse than accepting. Eleanor knows that look. She wore it once, 32 years ago. Different city, different bench, same feeling. She was 28, single mother, 1 daughter, no degree, no network, no one who believed she could be more than she was. She applied for an entry-level position at a shipping company, wore a dress she borrowed, shoes that didn't fit, sat across from a man who looked at her the way Brandon looked at Caleb. He asked about childcare, about commitment, about whether she understood the demands of the role. He rejected her in 10 minutes. She sat outside that building and cried, not loud, just quiet tears that blurred the city into shapes. Then someone sat down next to her, an older man, the company's founder. He asked why she was crying. She told him. He listened. Then he walked her back inside and hired her himself. He told her something she never forgot. People will always find reasons to count you out. Your job is to prove them wrong. Not for them, for you. Eleanor built her career on that advice. Climbed, learned, fought. Started her own company when they refused to promote her. Built it into something that made them irrelevant. She never forgot the man who gave her a chance. And she never forgot the man who didn't. She turns from the window, picks up her phone, dials. Rebecca. Yes, Miss Whitmore? I want a full audit of Brandon Klein's hiring decisions. Every rejection, every hire. Cross-reference demographics, education, income backgrounds. I want patterns. Silence. Then, carefully, how far back? 3 years. That's a lot of files. I know. Get started. Eleanor hangs up, straightens her jacket, walks to the door. The board is waiting. Let them. Because right now, 60 floors below, a man is walking home to tell his children that their father didn't give up, and that matters more than anything happening in this building. Eleanor opens the door, steps into the hall. Behind her, the city keeps moving. And somewhere in it, Caleb Rains is learning what it feels like when someone finally sees you. But Monday morning will test everything he thinks he knows. Because walking into that building as an employee is one thing. Surviving it is another. This is just the beginning. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Because what comes next will show you exactly what Caleb's made of. Drop a comment. Tell me about a time someone doubted you and you proved them wrong. Your story matters. Brandon Klein's hand shakes as he reaches for his coffee. The cup is cold. Has been for an hour. He doesn't drink it, just holds it. Stares at his computer screen. The cursor blinks in an empty email draft. He's been sitting here for 20 minutes trying to write something. Anything. But the words won't come. His door is closed. He closed it the second Eleanor left. Locked it. Then stood with his back against it, breathing like he'd run a mile. That was 45 minutes ago. Now he sits at his desk, trying to process what just happened. Trying to figure out how a routine rejection turned into a threat. Trying to understand how Eleanor Whitmore, a woman who hasn't personally intervened in a hiring decision in over a decade, walked into his office and dismantled 6 years of his career in under 10 minutes. His phone buzzes. He ignores it. It buzzes again. He picks it up. Text from James in HR. Need to talk. Now. Brandon's stomach drops. He types back. Busy. Later. The response is immediate. Eleanor requested audit of your files. Need your login credentials. Brandon stares at the screen. His vision blurs. He sets the phone down. Face down. Like that'll make it stop. An audit. She's auditing him. He stands. Paces. 3 steps to the window. 3 steps back. The walls feel smaller. The air feels thinner. His phone rings. He doesn't answer. It rings again. He picks up. What? Brandon. James's voice is tight. Professional. Careful. We need to meet. I'm in the middle of Gran. Now. The line goes dead. Brandon sets the phone down. His hands won't stop shaking. He grabs his jacket, unlocks the door, steps into the hallway. People look up from their desks. Eyes follow him. Whispers start the second he passes. He doesn't look at them, just walks. Fast, toward the elevator. Presses the button. Waits. The doors open. He steps inside, alone. Presses 12, HR floor. The elevator descends. He watches the numbers fall. His reflection stares back from the polished doors. Pale, sweating, trapped. The doors open. James stands in the hallway. Mid-50s. Gray suit. Gray hair. Expression carved from stone. Come with me, he says. Brandon follows. Down the hall. Past cubicles. Past conference rooms. To an office at the end. Small. No windows. James steps inside. Brandon follows. The door closes. James sits behind the desk. Doesn't gesture for Brandon to sit. Brandon stays standing. James opens a folder. Flips through pages. His face doesn't change. Doesn't react. Just reads. The silence stretches. Brandon's throat feels dry. What is this about? James looks up. Miss Whitmore requested a review of your hiring practices. I know. I got your text. Then you know this is serious. Brandon's jaw tightens. I've been doing my job, following protocol. Every decision I've made has been documented and sit down. Brandon zits. James slides a paper across the desk. Caleb Rains. Rejected this morning. 11:43 a.m. Your notes say, not a fit. Childcare concerns. Skills outdated. Is that accurate? Yes. Did you verify that his skills were outdated? Brandon hesitates. I reviewed his resume. His last position was 4 years ago. Did you ask him about his current knowledge? Did you test his familiarity with updated systems? Did you give him any opportunity to demonstrate competence? Silence. Answer the question. No, Brandon says quietly. James nods, slides another paper across. Michael Chen, hired 4 weeks ago. Similar background. Gap in employment. 3 children. Wife travels frequently. Your notes say, strong candidate. Recommend hire. Why the different standard? Brandon's face flushes. Michael had references. He interviewed well. He's a man with a working spouse, James interrupts. Caleb Rains is a single father. That's the difference. That's not. Let me finish. James pulls out another sheet. Jennifer Park. Rejected 6 months ago. Single mother. 2 children. Your notes. Availability concerns. She now works at Collins Freight. Promoted twice. Currently managing a team of 12. He pulls out another. David Ochoa. Rejected 8 months ago. Widower. 3 kids. Your notes. Personal obligations may interfere. He's now Senior Logistics Coordinator at Brennan Supply. Salary 20% higher than what we offered. Another sheet. Tamara Lewis. Rejected 10 months ago. Single mother. 1 child. Your notes. Childcare issues. She's now at Harmon Distribution. Just closed their largest client deal this quarter. James spreads the papers across the desk. 10, 15, 20. I could keep going, he says. I have 43 candidates from the last 18 months. All rejected. All single parents. All highly qualified. All thriving elsewhere. Brandon's face goes white. I was evaluating based on bias. James's voice doesn't rise. Doesn't need to. You filtered out anyone who complicated your metrics. Anyone who didn't fit your narrow definition of what a committed employee looks like. That's not fair. No? James leans forward. Then explain why 82% of your hires come from the same 3 universities. Why 76% are men. Why 91% had no employment gaps. Why 100% came from households with six-figure incomes. Brandon opens his mouth, closes it. You didn't hire talent, James says. You hired comfort, and it cost this company some of the best people in the industry. Brandon's hands grip the armrests. I followed every protocol, every guideline. I documented every decision. You followed the letter of the law, James says, not the spirit. And Miss Whitmore won't tolerate that. So what? Brandon's voice cracks. She's firing me? James is quiet for a long moment. Then he closes the folder. No, he says. Not yet. Brandon exhales. Relief floods his face. But you're on notice, James continues. Effective immediately. Every hiring decision you make will be reviewed by a panel. Every rejection will require detailed justification. Every interview will be monitored. You'll attend mandatory bias training, and you'll personally mentor Caleb Rains for his first 90 days. Brandon's relief evaporates. What? You heard me. You rejected him. Now, you'll help him succeed. That's non-negotiable. James stands. Miss Whitmore was very clear. Either you do this, or you find another job. Your choice. Brandon sits frozen. His face cycles through expressions. Shock, anger, fear. When does this start? He asks quietly. Monday. Caleb Rains reports at 8 a.m. You'll meet him in the lobby. Show him to his desk. Introduce him to the team. Make sure he has everything he needs. James walks to the door, opens it. And Brandon? He succeeds. Or you're done. Those are the stakes. James walks out. Brandon sits alone in the small office with no windows and papers spread across the desk that show exactly who he is. He thought he was protecting standards. He was protecting privilege. And now it's going to cost him everything. 15 floors above, Eleanor Whitmore sits in a conference room with the board. 12 people around a long table, charts on screens, numbers in columns, voices debating margins and growth and quarterly targets. She's not listening. She's thinking about a man sitting on a bench, about 2 kids waiting at home, about a promise someone made 30 years ago that changed her life. Miss Whitmore? She looks up. The CFO is staring at her. Everyone is staring at her. I'm sorry, she says. Repeat the question. The expansion into the Midwest. Are we moving forward or tabling it? Eleanor looks at the numbers on the screen. Projections, risks, returns. It's a good deal. Smart. Safe. She thinks about Caleb Rains. About the way his voice broke when he said, "It would mean my kids don't grow up thinking their dad quit." We're moving forward, she says, but with one condition. The room goes quiet. Every new hire in that region goes through a blind screening process. No names, no schools, no photos. Just skills and experience. We evaluate based on what people can do, not where they came from. The CFO blinks. That'll slow down the process. I don't care. Do it anyway. Miss Whitmore, we have timelines. Then adjust them. Eleanor's voice is steel. This company was built on giving people chances, not on playing it safe. If we can't do that, we don't deserve to expand. The room is silent. The CFO nods. Understood. Eleanor stands. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have somewhere to be. She walks out before anyone can respond. Down the hall. Into her office. She closes the door. Walks to the window. The city spreads below. Somewhere out there, Caleb Rains is telling his kids he got the job. Somewhere out there, they're celebrating. Somewhere out there, hope is being rebuilt one moment at a time. Eleanor picks up her phone. Dials. Rebecca. Yes, Miss Whitmore? I want you to pull the rejected candidate files from the last 3 years. Cross-reference with current industry employment. Find out where they ended up, what they're doing, how they're performing. All of them? Just the ones Brandon rejected. I want to know what we lost. Rebecca is quiet. Then, right away. Eleanor hangs up, sits at her desk, opens a drawer. Inside is a photo. Old, faded, a younger version of herself holding a little girl. Both smiling. Behind them, a small apartment. Peeling paint, broken blinds. Survival. She looks at it for a long moment. Then she closes the drawer. Monday morning, Caleb Rains will walk through those doors. He'll be nervous, uncertain, afraid he doesn't belong. And Eleanor will make sure everyone in this building knows he does. Because 30 years ago, someone did that for her. And she never forgot. Outside, the sun sets. The city lights flicker on. And somewhere between the glass towers and cramped apartments, a single father puts his kids to bed and whispers a promise he finally believes he can keep. But Monday will test him in ways he can't imagine. Because walking in is the easy part. Staying is the fight. Monday morning starts at 5:15. Caleb's alarm screams. He slaps it off, sits up. The apartment is dark, silent except for the radiator clanking to life in the corner. Cold air seeps through the window frame. He can see his breath. He doesn't move for 10 seconds. Just sits, stares at the wall, feels his heart pound. Today is real. He stands. Feet hit cold linoleum. He walks to the bathroom, flips the light. The bulb flickers twice before it holds. He looks at himself in the mirror. Same face. Different day. Everything is different. He showers. The water runs cold after 3 minutes, like always. He doesn't care, just stands under it until his skin goes numb, gets out, dries off, shaves careful, cuts himself once under his jaw, wipes the blood, keeps going. He bought a new shirt. Saturday. $15 at the outlet store across town. White, cotton, still has the creases from the package. He irons it on the kitchen counter because they don't have an ironing board. The iron is old. Sputters steam. Burns a small mark near the collar. He buttons it anyway, tucks it in. The suit is the same, gray, outdated. But he brushed it, hung it in the bathroom while he showered so the steam would smooth the wrinkles. It worked. Mostly. Tie, navy blue. Marcus gave it to him yesterday. Said he didn't need it anymore. Caleb practices the knot 3 times. Gets it wrong. Tries again. Gets it close enough. Shoes. Not borrowed this time. His own. Black. Cheap. Worn at the heels. He polished them last night at the kitchen table while the kids slept. They looked better. Not new, but better. He checks his phone. 6:02 a.m. The kids are still asleep. He walks to their room, opens the door slow. The hinges creak. He freezes, waits. They don't stir. Elise is curled on her side, blanket tangled around her legs, hair across her face. Noah is on the top bunk, one arm hanging over the edge, mouth open, breathing deep. Caleb stands in the doorway, watches them, memorizes this, the way they look peaceful, safe, like the world hasn't touched them yet. He pulls the door closed, walks to the kitchen, makes coffee. Instant. The cheap kind that tastes like burnt water. Drinks it black. Eats nothing. His stomach is too tight. At 6:30, he hears movement. Small feet on the floor. Elise shuffles out. Nightgown dragging. Eyes half closed. Daddy? Hey, baby. She walks to him. Wraps her arms around his leg. Leans her head against his hip. You look fancy. Thanks. Is today the day? Yeah. She looks up. Squints. You scared? Caleb crouches. Eye level. A little. It's okay to be scared. She touches his cheek. You're still brave. His throat tightens. He kisses her forehead. Go wake your brother. I'll make breakfast. She shuffles back to the room. He hears her climb the ladder. Hears Noah groan. Hears her giggle. Caleb makes oatmeal. Cinnamon. Sets bowls on the table. Pours orange juice. Noah comes out. Hair sticking up. Eyes puffy. Big day, Noah says. Yeah. You ready? Caleb looks at his son. 9 years old. Serious face. Old eyes. I think so. Noah nods. Sits. Eats. Doesn't say anything else. But he keeps glancing at Caleb. Like he's checking. Making sure he's real. Making sure this is happening. At 7:15, Caleb walks them to the bus stop. Elise holds his hand. Noah walks ahead. The morning is cold. Frost on windshields. Their breath comes out in clouds. Other parents are there. They nod. Caleb nods back. The bus comes. Yellow. Loud. Brakes, hissing. Elise hugs him tight. Good luck, Daddy. Thanks, baby. Noah just waves. But before he gets on, he stops. Turns. You got this. Caleb's chest tightens. Yeah, bud. I got this. The bus pulls away. Caleb watches until it turns the corner. Then he walks back, gets in his car, sits, grips the steering wheel, breathes. The drive takes 30 minutes. Traffic is heavy. He parks in the garage under the building. Employee parking. He has a badge now. Scanned it at the gate. The arm lifted. He almost couldn't believe it. He parks in a spot near the back, turns off the engine, sits. His phone says 7:41. He's early. On purpose. Didn't want to be late. Didn't want to give anyone a reason. At 7:50, he gets out, locks the car, walks to the elevator, presses the button. The doors open. He steps inside. Alone. Presses L for lobby. The elevator rises. His stomach drops. He watches the numbers climb. -2, -1. Lobby. The doors open. The lobby is full. People in suits. People with briefcases. People on phones. Moving. Fast. Confident. Like they belong. Caleb steps out. Stops. Doesn't know where to go. A woman approaches. Mid-30s. Bright smile. Clipboard. Caleb Rains? Yes. I'm Angela. From HR. Welcome. She extends her hand. He shakes it. Her grip is firm. Warm. How are you feeling? Nervous. She laughs. That's normal. Follow me. She leads him across the lobby. To a hallway. Down a corridor. Past offices. Conference rooms. People glance at him. Some nod. Some don't. He doesn't know if they know who he is. If they know how he got here. They reach an office. Angela opens the door. This is you. Caleb steps inside. The space is small. Desk. Chair. Computer. Window. It's more than he expected. More than he's had in years. Your login is on the sticky note, Angela says. Rebecca from Miss Whitmore's office will stop by at 9 to go over your schedule. Until then, get settled. Explore. There's coffee in the break room down the hall. Thank you. Angela smiles. You're going to do great. She leaves. Closes the door. Caleb stands in the middle of the office. Alone. He sets his bag down. Sits in the chair. It's ergonomic. Adjustable. Soft. He's never had a chair like this. He logs into the computer. The screen lights up. Welcome message. His name. His employee ID number. It's real. It's all real. He opens his email. 17 messages. Most are automated. IT setup. Benefits enrollment. Team introductions. One is from Eleanor. Subject. Welcome. He clicks it. Caleb, welcome to Haraway Dynamics. I meant what I said. Prove me right. Eleanor. Common best. He reads it 3 times. Closes it. Stares at the screen. A knock on the door. He looks up. A man stands in the doorway. Late 20s. Skinny. Glasses. Holding 2 coffee cups. Hey, the man says. You're Caleb, right? Yeah. I'm Jordan. I work in logistics too. Saw you were starting today. Thought you might want coffee. He holds out a cup. Caleb takes it. Thanks. Jordan steps inside. Leans against the doorframe. First day? Yeah. How you feeling? Like, I don't belong. Jordan laughs. Everyone feels that way at first. Give it a week. You'll be fine. You sure? Positive. Jordan sips his coffee. Eleanor doesn't hire people who can't handle it. If you're here, you earned it. Caleb's throat tightens. He doesn't know how to respond. Jordan straightens. Anyway, if you need anything, I'm 3 doors down. Don't be a stranger. I won't. Thanks. Jordan leaves. Caleb sits. Drinks the coffee. It's good. Better than instant. Better than burnt water. At 9, Rebecca knocks. She's tall. Efficient. Moves fast. Talks faster. Morning, she says. I'm Rebecca. Miss Whitmore's assistant. Here's your schedule for the week. Orientation this morning. Team meeting this afternoon. One-on-one with your manager tomorrow. Training starts Wednesday. She hands him a folder. Thick, organized, color-coded tabs. Your manager is Brandon Klein, she says. He'll check in with you at 10. Caleb's stomach drops. Brandon? Yes. Is that a problem? Caleb's mind races. The man who rejected him. The man who said he wasn't a fit. That man is his manager. No, Caleb says quietly. No problem. Rebecca nods. Good. Any questions? No? Great. Welcome aboard. She leaves. Caleb sits, stares at the folder, opens it, flips through pages. His mind is spinning. Brandon, the man who looked at him like he was inconvenient, like he was risk, like he was nothing. That man is now responsible for his success. At 9:58, footsteps approach. Caleb looks up. Brandon Klein stands in the doorway. He looks different, smaller. His shoulders are tight. His face is pale. He doesn't smile. Caleb, he says. Brandon. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Brandon clears his throat. I'm your manager. I'll be overseeing your work for the next 90 days. Caleb nods. Doesn't speak. Brandon shifts his weight. I know this is awkward, given our last interaction. But Miss Whitmore has made it clear that I'm to ensure your success here. So that's what I'm going to do. His voice is flat, rehearsed, like he's reading from a script. I appreciate that, Caleb says carefully. Brandon nods. Once. Good. We'll meet tomorrow, one-on-one. Go over expectations. For now, settle in. Get familiar with the systems. If you need anything, let me know. He turns to leave. Brandon, Caleb says. Brandon stops. Looks back. I'm not here to make your life difficult, Caleb says. I'm just here to work. Brandon's jaw tightens. He nods. Doesn't say anything. Just walks away. Caleb exhales. Leans back in his chair. Stares at the ceiling. This is going to be harder than he thought. But he doesn't have a choice. He made a promise. To his kids, to himself, to Eleanor. So he opens his laptop, starts reading, starts learning, starts proving. Because walking in was the easy part. Staying is the fight. And Caleb Rains doesn't quit. 3 weeks pass like walking through fog. Caleb arrives at 7:30 every morning, leaves at 5:15, not a minute later. He can't. The kids get out of school at 3. Marcus watches them until Caleb gets home. $20 a day. 4 days a week. $80 he doesn't have but pays anyway. The work is hard. Not the tasks. Those he understands. Logistics. Inventory. Systems. Numbers that need to make sense. He's good at that. Always was. It's everything else. The people who talk past him in meetings. The conversations that stop when he enters the break room. The way Brandon watches him. Silent. Waiting. Like he's counting down to failure. Jordan helps. Brings coffee. Answers questions. Explains the unwritten rules. Which manager to avoid. Which projects are traps. Which battles aren't worth fighting. You're doing fine, Jordan says one afternoon. They're in Caleb's office. Door closed. Better than fine, actually. Your projections last week saved the team 2 days of work. Caleb shakes his head. Brandon didn't mention it. Of course he didn't. He's waiting for you to screw up. Why? Jordan gives him a look. You know why. Caleb does. He just doesn't want to say it out loud. Thursday of week 3, Eleanor calls him to her office. The summons comes through Rebecca. No context. Just, Miss Whitmore wants to see you. Now. Caleb's stomach drops. He closes his laptop, straightens his tie, takes the elevator to 60. Rebecca waves him through. Go ahead. She's expecting you. He knocks. Hears, come in. Opens the door. Eleanor sits at the small table by the window. 2 folders in front of her. She gestures to the chair across from her. Caleb sits. His heart hammers. How are you? Eleanor asks. Good. Don't lie to me. Caleb's mouth closes. Opens. It's hard. I know. Eleanor's eyes don't leave his face. Brandon's making it harder than it needs to be. Caleb doesn't respond. I've been watching, Eleanor continues. Your work is excellent. Your team likes you. Your projections are sharper than anyone's in that department. She pauses. But Brandon's reports say you're struggling. Caleb's jaw tightens. I'm not. I know. That's why I'm telling you this. Eleanor slides one folder across the table. These are your actual performance metrics, compiled by Jordan and 2 other team members. This is what you've really done. Caleb opens it. Pages of data, charts, feedback, all positive, all detailed, all showing he's succeeding. Eleanor slides the second folder. This is what Brandon submitted to HR. Caleb opens it. His stomach drops. Needs improvement. Struggles with time management. Misses nuance in client communication. None of it is true. He's sabotaging you, Eleanor says. Quietly, carefully, but he's doing it. Caleb's hands shake. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know what you're up against. Eleanor leans forward. And because I'm about to fix it. How? By removing him. Caleb's eyes widen. You're firing him? No, I'm reassigning him. Different department. Different responsibilities. Far away from you. Eleanor's voice is steel. And I'm promoting Jordan to senior logistics manager. He'll oversee your team, including you. Caleb stares at her. When? Today. He'll be notified within the hour. You'll report to Jordan starting Monday. Caleb's chest feels tight. Relief. Fear. Confusion. All at once. Why are you doing this? He asks. Eleanor is quiet for a moment. Then she opens a drawer in the table, pulls out an old photograph, slides it across. Caleb looks. A younger woman, maybe 30, holding a little girl, both smiling. Behind them, a small apartment, broken blinds, peeling paint. That's me, Eleanor says. 32 years ago. Single mother, 1 daughter. No degree, no money, no options. Caleb looks up at her. I applied for a job at a shipping company, Eleanor continues. Entry level. The man who interviewed me looked at me the way Brandon looked at you. Like I was a complication, a risk. Her voice drops. He rejected me in 10 minutes. Caleb's throat tightens. I sat outside that building and cried, Eleanor says. Not because I didn't get the job, because I believed him. I believed I wasn't good enough. She takes the photo back, looks at it. Then the company founder sat down next to me, asked why I was crying. I told him. He listened. Then he walked me back inside and hired me himself. She sets the photo down. He told me something I never forgot. People will always find reasons to count you out. Your job is to prove them wrong. Not for them, for you. Her eyes meet Caleb's. I built this company on that advice. She says, I spent 30 years proving people wrong. And when I saw you sitting on that bench, I saw myself. I saw someone who'd been counted out, someone who deserved better. Caleb's vision blurs. He blinks hard. You're not here because I felt sorry for you, Eleanor says. You're here because you're good, because you work harder than anyone in that building, because you show up every day, even when it's hard, even when people doubt you. She leans forward. That's not charity. That's competence. Caleb's voice comes out rough. Thank you. Eleanor nods. Don't thank me. Prove me right. She stands, walks to her desk, picks up her phone, dials. Rebecca, send Brandon Klein to my office. She hangs up, looks at Caleb. You can stay or go. Your choice. Caleb stands. I'll go. Good choice. He walks to the door, stops, turns back. The man who hired you, he says. What happened to him? Eleanor's expression softens. Just barely. He died 5 years later. Heart attack. But before he did, he told me the company was mine, left it to me in his will, said I'd earned it. Caleb nods. Doesn't know what to say. He gave me a chance, Eleanor says. I'm giving you one. What you do with it is up to you. Caleb leaves. The door closes behind him. In the hallway, he passes Brandon. Their eyes meet. Brandon's face is pale, confused. Caleb doesn't stop, just keeps walking. Behind him, he hears Eleanor's voice. Calm, controlled. Sit down, Brandon. We need to talk. The door closes. Caleb takes the elevator down, back to his office. Sits at his desk, stares at his computer screen. His phone buzzes. Text from Jordan. Did you hear? I'm your new manager. First order of business. Drinks. Friday. You're buying. Kidding. I'm buying. You earned it. Caleb almost smiles. Types back. Thanks. Another text. This one from Noah. Dad, when you coming home? Caleb checks the time. 4:47. He could leave now. Be home by 5:30. Have dinner with his kids. Help with homework. Be present. He shuts down his computer, grabs his bag, walks out. In the elevator, he sees his reflection. Same face, same cheap suit, but something's different. His shoulders aren't curved. His eyes aren't tired. He looks like someone who belongs. The doors open. Lobby. He walks through, past the fountain, through the revolving door, into the cold. The bus stop is across the street. He could take it, save gas, save money. But tonight, he drives, gets in his car, starts the engine, pulls out of the garage. The city moves around him, same as always, but different. He gets home at 5:34, parks, climbs the stairs, opens the door. The apartment smells like mac and cheese. The kids are at the table, homework spread out. Elise is drawing. Noah is reading. They look up. Daddy! Elise jumps down, runs to him, wraps around his leg. Noah watches, almost smiles. You're early. Yeah, Caleb says. Thought I'd come home. He picks up Elise, sits at the table, looks at Noah's homework, checks Elise's drawing. It's them, 3 stick figures, holding hands, all smiling. You like it? She asks. I love it, Caleb says. And he means it. That night, after dinner, after homework, after baths and books, and tucking them in, Caleb sits at the kitchen table. The volcano is gone. Finished. Turned in. Got an A. He opens his laptop, checks his email. One new message. From Eleanor. Subject. One more thing. He clicks it. Caleb, the man who gave me a chance told me something else. He said, when you make it, don't forget where you came from. And when you see someone sitting on a bench, don't walk past them. You're going to make it. I know you will. And when you do, I hope you'll remember this. Eleanor. Caleb reads it twice. 3 times. Closes the laptop. He thinks about the bench. About sitting there. About feeling invisible. He thinks about Eleanor. About the way she stopped. The way she listened. The way she gave him a chance when no one else would. He thinks about his kids. Asleep in the next room. Safe. Hopeful. Believing their father didn't quit. And for the first time in 4 years, Caleb believes it too. 6 months later, Caleb stands in the break room making coffee. Real coffee. The good kind. From the machine that grinds fresh beans. He's learned which button makes it strongest. Which cup size doesn't overflow. Jordan walks in. Grins. Morning. Morning. Big day. Caleb nods. Yeah. Today, he presents to the executive team his project. 6 months of work. A new inventory tracking system that could save the company $2 million annually. Jordan helped. So did 3 others. But it was Caleb's idea. Caleb's design. Caleb's voice that'll present it. You ready? Jordan asks. I think so. You're gonna kill it. Caleb hopes he's right. At 10, he stands in a conference room. 15 people sit around a table. Executives. Department heads. Eleanor, at the far end. Caleb's hands shake as he opens his laptop. Connects to the screen. His presentation loads. He takes a breath. Starts talking. The first slide is rough. His voice cracks. He clears his throat. Keeps going. By slide 3, his hands stop shaking. By slide 7, people are leaning forward. By slide 12, They're asking questions. Good ones. Smart ones. He answers. Clear. Confident. Sure. When he finishes, the room is quiet. Then someone claps. Jordan. Then another. Then the whole room. Eleanor stands. Excellent work, Caleb. Truly excellent. He nods. Can't speak. Just nods. After the meeting, Eleanor stops him in the hallway. Walk with me, she says. They walk. Past offices. Past cubicles. To the elevator. Up to 60. In her office, she gestures to the table. They sit. You've done well, Eleanor says. Better than I expected, and I expected a lot. Thank you. I have a question for you. Caleb waits. What do you want? Eleanor asks. Not what you think I want to hear. What do you actually want? Caleb thinks. Really thinks. I want to keep learning, he says. I want to grow. I want my kids to see that hard work matters, that showing up matters, that people like us, people who start with nothing, we belong here too. Eleanor smiles. Actually smiles. Good answer. She slides a folder across the table. Caleb opens it. Offer letter. Senior logistics analyst. 20% salary increase. Team leadership responsibilities. His breath catches. You earned it, Eleanor says. Take the weekend. Think about it. Let me know Monday. Caleb looks at her. I don't need the weekend. No? No. I accept. Eleanor nods. Then congratulations. She stands, extends her hand. Caleb shakes it. One more thing, Eleanor says. I want you to help me with something. Anything. I'm starting a program for single parents, people like you, people like I was. Resume workshops, interview prep, childcare resources, mentorship. She pauses. I want you to help run it. Caleb's throat tightens. Me? Yes. You know what it's like. You know what they need. You know how to talk to them without talking down to them. Caleb nods. Slow. I'd be honored. Good. We start next month. That evening, Caleb picks up the kids early, takes them to the aquarium. The one he promised. The one he said someday. Today is someday. Elise presses her face against the glass, watches jellyfish float, glowing, beautiful. Daddy, look! I see them, baby. Noah stands next to him, quiet, watching. This is cool, Noah says. Yeah, Caleb says. It is. On the drive home, Elise falls asleep in the back seat. Noah stays awake, looks out the window. Dad, he says. Yeah, bud? You did it. Caleb glances at him. Did what? You didn't quit. Caleb's chest tightens. No, I didn't. Mom would have been proud. The words land soft, true, painful, beautiful. Thanks, Noah. They drive home in silence. Good silence. That night, after the kids are asleep, Caleb sits at the kitchen table, the same table where he sat 6 months ago, where he opened the rejection email, where he wondered if trying was enough. He pulls out his phone, opens his photos, scrolls back, finds one from that morning, the morning of the interview. Noah and Elise at the bus stop, Elise waving, Noah looking back. He stares at it, remembers what he felt, fear, doubt, desperation. Then he scrolls forward, to today, to the aquarium. Elise's face pressed against glass. Noah almost smiling. Different kids, same kids, safe, happy, hopeful. He sets the phone down, looks around the apartment, still small, still cramped, radiator still clanks, walls still thin. But the electric bill is paid. The fridge is full. The kids have new winter coats. And tomorrow, he goes to work at a job that sees him, values him, believes in him. Not because someone felt sorry for him, because he earned it. His phone buzzes. Text from Eleanor. Congratulations again. You've come a long way from that bench. Caleb types back. Thank you for everything. Her response comes fast. Don't thank me. You did the work. I just opened the door. Caleb smiles, sets the phone down. He thinks about the program, about the single parents who'll walk through those doors, tired, scared, invisible. He thinks about sitting across from them, listening, seeing them. He thinks about Eleanor's words. When you see someone sitting on a bench, don't walk past them. He won't. He'll stop. He'll listen. He'll give them what someone gave him. A chance. Not charity. Not pity. A chance to prove they belong. To prove they're worth it. To prove that trying is enough when someone finally sees you trying. Caleb closes his laptop, turns off the kitchen light, walks to the kids' room, opens the door, watches them sleep. Elise, curled up, hair across her face, breathing soft. Noah, one arm hanging over the edge, peaceful, safe. He pulls the door closed, walks to his room, lies down, stares at the ceiling. Tomorrow, he'll wake at 5:15, make breakfast, braid Elise's hair, walk them to the bus stop, wave until the bus is gone. Then he'll drive to work. Not the warehouse, not the night shift, not the place that didn't see him, the place that does. And he'll keep proving, keep showing up, keep fighting. Not because he has to, because he can. Because someone believed in him when no one else did. And now it's his turn to believe in someone else. Caleb closes his eyes. Outside, the city keeps moving. Inside, a single father sleeps and dreams of benches and doors and people who stop when everyone else walks past. Because that's how the world changes. One chance at a time. If this story moved, you don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, share it, turn on notifications. Because stories like this, stories about real people fighting real battles, they deserve to be heard. Drop a comment. Tell me about the time someone saw you when you felt invisible. Tell me about the chance someone gave you. Tell me about the bench you sat on and the person who stopped. Your story matters. Your voice matters. And someone scrolling right now needs to hear it. This is Drill Stories, where every struggle has a voice, every fighter has a story, and every ending is just another beginning. See you in the next one.